Hi brothers and sisters, Namaste. A friend of mine sent me 2 links to a video. It was Lisa Harrison's The One Network. She asked me what are my views about the videos. And these 2 videos are 2 hours length. And since I didn't know what it was, I gave it a chance to listen for the grueling 2 hours. So in these 2 hours of video, they interviewed a person named Lily. Lily said, I'm going to write down, and I wrote it down, what the interview was about. So they asked Lily, where did she get her information from? Lily said, it's directly from soul level. This is her own words. It comes through the center, not through pineal gland. It comes through herself. She said it comes through before it has any body. It hit through emotional body. That's how you just feel the information. It just comes from inside of you. It doesn't come in words or anything. In any mental type or communication, it comes in the feeling that it's like you drop a rock into a water. It kind of sends the wave out, and at the same time, it hits your mental body and your physical body. But first, it comes through the center. Now let me give my comment. That is called information download. When we have a question that we are eager to find out, the higher forces of heaven, they send this information to us. We are like a human living computer. They download this information to us. Most of the time, they do it when we're asleep, when there are no other programs running in our system. So we make a space in downloading the information. It depends on how receptive you are and how much space left in you. I get this information a lot when I ask questions. I do get information, a download of information, and also sometimes telepathic communication that sometimes I didn't even realize that I'm talking directly and just talking to myself. So it happens a lot. So she doesn't want to say channeling because a lot of draconian minions are already discrediting the light forces, the channelers, the spiritual beings. First of all, I have no animosity against you, Lily. My love for you, and I salute you for that, for coming out and share the knowledge that you have. And after watching these videos, you did give missing information to what other people were talking about. Now let me go back to her interview. She said that, but first it comes through the center. Why it comes through the center? And she really discredited the pineal gland. She said, here, it is moving from pineal gland into a center. See, light creation is dual, she said. On the minutes of 9 minutes and 40 seconds, she said, the chakra system, the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, we all have that. They are copies of the planet. She also talked about the Big Bang, how we end up on Earth. She said, there is an internal creation, absolutely huge. Internal creation does not have a light frequency. what we have here, and then she referred and showed the graph of that. Now, we have to ask, like, what is her purpose of talking about this now? Bryan, the guy on this one network with Lisa, asked her why she decided to share this information. And she said that before December 21, 2012, she doesn't want to infringe the free will. So now she come out. Why now? Why she's infringing the free will of humanity? She said it's about the planet and the people. And let me just read here. She said here, this is the 11 minutes on the first video. She said, internal creation externalizes itself. Light creation is one of those external creation. So when she said that, the way I understand it, and I can do it in my own terminology also, eternal creation is what we call the source. But the archangels, because they are high evolved spirits, they call creation because it creates all kinds of life. And when she said the external creation, that is the sparks of light from the source. She wanted to discredit the source because she said the source is not light. And I do agree that source is not light. It is a pure energy. When you know me, you subscribe to me, you know I always talk about the source is a pure energy of love. So she's trying to discredit now to make it a duality. So let me go back here again. She said internal creation externalizes itself. Light creation is one of those external creation. They are the sparks of light. This is how little light creation is compared. So now she's belittling the light children, the light forces. Now we started to ask what is the agenda, what is the purpose of her video. Really, you might have a good intention of saving humanity on this planet, and I applaud you for that. I respect you for that. But you didn't realize yet how they had programmed you. They had tagged you in the astral years ago. And my job also is to expose the deception. So there is really no enemies in this planet. But since the way you presented your speech in this video, you really favored the draconians, the forces of the reptilian, and made the forces of light as the bad guys. It's a typical tactics of the bad guys. History, when they had rewritten the history, good guys become the bad guys, and the bad guys become the good guys. And why they had used Lily for this purpose, when she did not agree to work for them before, and now they slowly get into her. They reserve her as they get out of jail card. Now let me go back to her topic. On 11 minutes and 15 seconds, she said, when that happened, that's the Big Bang. So when she said that the internal creation externalizes itself, light creation is one of those external creation. This is how little light creation is compared to the whole internal creation. It's like one drop, only one drop out of that whole internal creation. So when she showed that graph, so she said when that happened, that is the Big Bang. Yes, that is the Big Bang of the light children. And she said, when source creates sparks, it creates lights. sound, frequency, color, vibration, and consciousness, unique to each other. So every sparks in the source, creation that archangels call the source, and other races call source the isness, which the Pleiadians, the Andromedans call source as the isness. The Pleiadians call the source as prime creator. We, a human being here, we call the source as God the Father, which is really also a God Father Mother, for the source is just a pure energy of love. So when source creates sparks, that is the first big bang of the light children, with, again, unique to each other. They have their own sound, color, frequency, vibration, and consciousness. So when these children went out, source, they are not disconnected, as Lily have explained to this video. They are still connected with the source. They are in the collective minds. Lily said once you're in the body, now that becomes collective. I disagree. Collective minds, when they separated from the source, they are still connected to the source. Source said, go out and bring everything back to me. So this way, source can experience what its light children will experience. So these light children, we call the spirits, they are not in duality first. They are still whole. Because the moment you become duality, you have to be in a physical form. It doesn't matter what kind of form, it has to be physical. So these light children started to play in the cosmos, become stars, create planets, minerals, come to the flora, to the fauna. But first, they wanted to become stars and just be the light of the dark cosmos. And then when decided to leave that planet, the star, it dies out because it's starting to evolve to a new level of experiment. So any ideas that they have are like children. They are like children. Are there any mistakes? Of course, because they are experimenting on everything. They created planets. So it depends on what kind of minerals a planet has. They incarnate in those minerals, whether it will be a flowing water that they created and be the flowing water to feel how it feels like to be flowing, and the source directly experience it right away, because the source never have been disconnected from its light children. So whether they want to become a rock, a tree, the source experience it too. So everything comes to making planets, experimenting. When it comes to, then they become any kinds of insects, animals. So all kinds of races appears. The insects, most especially, are very old races. This is how the snakes, the serpents were created. So the first Big Bang of mankind here is different from Lily's Big Bang theory. Now let me go back to gather my thoughts again, because I wrote down what had been written on the interview. So in her graph that she said, when she showed her graph, that is the Big Bang theory. But I explained that I oppose to that. What she explained was the Big Bang theory of the first light children. And these are, when you're in light, since you're a light being, when you come out as a spark of the light, then you become a light. So you create your own hierarchy too. And then you have another sparks. So there is hierarchy, but there are no powers controlling the hierarchy. Only the reptilians have that control. The reptilians are in the physical form, the life form, and controls. So there is a hierarchy that executes power. So Lily, again, I have no animosity against you, but I'm just trying to explain the opposite side. So there is always a hierarchy on the light, because we as a spark here, we create light. On this physical body, we do not have that capability yet, because we are in the physical form. So yes, you're correct when you said that when the spirit incarnate here, it has to split in two, because the body cannot accept it, because it's too much for the body to handle. So why did I come out to say this, even though Lily talk about some truth of the information here that was missing? But we always have to ask, like, what is the agenda? So when she started to explain so many kinds of information, at the end, let me read some more of her testimony here. When she said here, the earth, oh, this is this is where the deception is showing. You've been mind manipulated and tagged years ago, Lily. And now they got to you. Well, all of us here were really controlled by the draconians a long time ago, when we were in the planet Marduk, which is called the Maldek, which is also called the planet Lucifer, that all of us were under their control. We were microchipped. And this is why the light forces of heaven decided to blow up the planet, because there is no way for any souls to grow and evolve, because everyone is microchipped. So our evolution become stagnant. It's stopped there. And everything, the black magic does work. Magic works. Only in this planet, the black magic have been executed a lot by the negative forces, the Illuminati. There are many dark forces controlling here, and we are their minions. So when we were born here again to reincarnate, we do resonate with them, because we are connected to that slavery, the tyranny a long time ago. And speaking of tyranny also, in the planet Orion area, there was a planet called the Tyrantor, in which also people were microchipped, and same thing with Maldek, and that is how we get our words tyranny. It's from the planet Tyrantor. Now, when planet Maldek was blown out, and it hit Mars and injured and killed Mars. So because Mars is really the cloning hub for the reptilians, the Anunnakis. Jehovah is one of that Anunnaki. So Earth manifested because of the will and for the souls of the blown up planet. Those souls just decided to not go up in a higher dimension or return back to the source. They don't want to. They just don't want to play. So a planet was created for the spirit. So in your testimony here on 20 minutes and 45 seconds, I believe, you told Lisa and the rest of the friends, you said the planet served as a rehab center mainly for the 7 dragon race. See, that is the deception, because when you try to be neutral and love everybody, or in your purpose, I could see that you want to help the rest of the races to ascend, to raise the frequency of this planet. But your hidden agenda is really showing that you favor the draconians. You even said that the Pleiadians, Assyrians, you degrade them. You You really make the draconians as the good guys. You said here, the planet served as a rehab center mainly for 7 dragon rays. This is the main purpose for the planets? You said when that happens, the planet has both frequencies, internal frequency, external light frequency. So you always want to differentiate the creation and the sparks of light, children, because you want to depower the powers of light. And you said, what happened is there is a band of frequencies that matching whatever race is going to be rehabilitated here. It is inserted between 3rd and 4th dimension. It is connected astrologically in light creation from A to point B. So this is connect through the portals, you said. And so all the way from wherever the dragons are in the universe, they have portals by whence they come to a planet. Now my comment to you, Lily. Now you just deprogram the viewers to vow and respect the dragons and give or surrender this planet to the dragons. For as you said, this planet was mainly a rehab center for the 7 dragon race. So you excluded the rest of the spirits of this planet. It isn't that, I love you, Lily. So you know, George Cavasalas is speaking this kind of speeches before, and a lot of people were attracted to him because George gave a lot of true information. Even with the deceit is only 2 to 3%, 5%, it cannot be detected by confused beings. And they resonated with George, but the main purpose of George is to deprogram the people. And he also talks very highly about the planet Earth. And that is the separation of the planet, because then George named the planet as Sophia, in which Sophia is another name for Lucifer. So now we try to see the deception of this speech, even though your main purpose is really a good one, but you didn't know that you have been used and deceived by these draconians. Alex Collier said, if you watch Alex Collier's first interview, the very old one, he was interviewed by what's his name, Mike Sala. They asked Alex, like, you said that there are regressive rays that are here in this planet. Who are they? So he named the Giza intelligence, the Greys, the Draconians, and then the interviewer asked, are there any others? And Alex Collier said, yes, they are the Orion group, which included Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Betelgeuse, Rigel. They are Orion group, which are under the control of Draconians. So Lily, in your interview here, you said you represent the planet Ursa. Now think about it. Are you being mind manipulated? Now let me read some more. You said, the Earth has 7 dragon rays. This is its purpose. The planet has both frequency, internal frequency, external light frequency. Okay. So you said here on 21 minutes and 45 seconds, I believe, you said, they come first into the moon when they come through our solar system. It is through the sun to the moon Moon is the pineal gland of our planet. So they incarnate through the moon. You said that, and you said, Lisa asked if the moon is organic, inorganic. You said it was inserted for rehab purpose. Now, not all beings incarnate that way. Only the reptilian groups, like the draconians, their group Y. Alex Collier mentioned this also, that when the dark forces, the draconians, the reptilians that are ruling us, when they have children, they take these children to the moon so that their memories will not be wiped out. So if you guys are familiar with Alex Collier's video, because Alex is the Andromedan contactee, he said on his video that they take their children to the moon. And this is where the spirits of on the astral level incarnate through the crown chakra. In our head, when you look at the head, there is that spiral thing in our head. That is the portal of our body. So the spirits incarnate, and when the baby is born, that's when the spirits go in to the crown chakra. The pineal gland is very different from her explanation, but what I would like you to guys to do is watch my video about the chakra system deception of George Kabatsilas. That is the explanation of my pineal gland, and you will also understand Lily's graph when she showed that graph 1 to 15 and how the soul returns. When my video about the pineal gland, it will give you a better explanation of why the body returns, why the spirit returns to the body to become a light being. So I highly recommend you for that. And I don't want to explain that one because this video is going to be a very long video, because the video was 4 hours long. So I don't know how long my video will be. And when Lily started talking about the graph, talking about the energies, about the 333, the energy of the planet and the moon, the feminine, what you call this, the female ratio and the male ratio, the 333 and the 666. This is when the the black magic had been executed to open our chakras. I'm a very sensitive person. I can feel when the dark energies attack me. And with this video that I had watched, the first interview video, I didn't notice that the dark energies went inside me, because this occult, the numbers 333, is an energy portal. And this is a portal where you want to go in a high dimension or the lower dimension. And in the body has 7 chakras, which are 7 portals. In our physical body, the portal is the heart center, the chakra, the 4th chakra. So this is why Lily always talk about the center, because this is our door to get into our chakras. So whether you want to go up in a higher dimension or low, but most of the time, they can only go to the lower dimension. And our soul resides in the lower chakras. The solar plexus is our inner sun. And through that, the sacral and the root, this is of the lower vibration for the body. So our throat, and then through our 3rd eye in the crown chakra. The 3rd eye, a lot of people wanted to activate their 3rd eye because they want to access the Akashic records. So this way they know who they are, because the 3rd eye is the eye of God, the pineal gland. The third eye, it has to be activated between the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. When these two connect each other, then you become like a super being. But before you try to activate your third eye, you must not do that first if your heart is not activated first. So it is very tough to do because you have to have that unconditional love. And I'm trying to do that. Even me, I know I am awakened and I cannot achieve that yet. And I don't want to force myself to activate my third eye, or else I will become the minion of the dark forces. Because the dark forces, the draconians, their third eye is very, very strong. They are clairvoyant mind manipulators. They can control our minds, talk to our minds, tell us what to do. So those are implants for the draconians. Okay, I talk too much here. I got off topic, and in her video, in the second video that she said, I love you, Lily. I don't. I'm not trying to attack you, but I want to show the other opposite information against yours. You know, when you're showing those numbers, whether you know it or not, those are like magic, and it opens the portals to my chakra, and without me knowing, I was like in a trance. It opens up, and when you mentioned the 333 and this, the energy portals open, went down to the lower dimension, lower astral level, huh? And you mentioned the heart, to open our heart door, and then here comes the numbers that you mentioned, the 666. Here comes the beast number entering, and I didn't notice all this deception until I finished watching the first video. That's when I felt such a pain in my stomach, my solar plexus. That this pain, when I woke up in the that morning, it was very painful. And it dawned on me. There was an entity inside of me that I did not notice were taking over my solar plexus, and it was hurting. So I command these negative energies to leave my chakras. In a way, I did help them to return back to source, because I send them back to source. So if they want to go back to source, there they are. I give them express delivery. Brothers and sisters, in the second video that she mentioned, she said that the Pleiadian Syrians are Anunnaki soul, but they have draconian frequency. Whatever you say, Lily, but once a soul, because we are, that is the main purpose here, for the spirit to grow, to continue to grow and evolve. Every soul are immortals. They have to continue to grow and evolve. Whatever mistakes that the souls make, the source is not judgmental, not punishing the children, because it's part of learning to gain wisdom, you know. That's the part. And you said that on the 25 minutes of the second video, she said, draconians are pure beings. They are actually incredibly peaceful. And they came here before they were manipulated by Anunnakis. They came here to do exactly what this planet offered them to do. No, I disagree. The planet is not for the 7 Draco planet. It's for the whole souls that wanted to create or stay away or start a new life from the slavery of Orion, where in other planets in Orion, the Betelgeuse, the blacks, they are slaves, and they started to use their minds. They create a portal to escape, and when they create that portal, they landed here on Earth, because Earth is like a school of duality. This is the university of duality of the planet Earth. So here it shows the deception right away. You really favored the draconians. So do you work for the dracos? The entities that were stuck in the astral, where you say the portals are closed. I agree. The portals were closed by the Galactic Federation of Light. So they were warned a long time ago in 1994 whether, to stop this game and unite together for the sole purpose of spirit's growth and evolution, and others doesn't want to do that. So the Anunnakis, which are the parents of the dracos here, which you call the draconians, they were parents of these races here. So we are like connected, because when we were created, the first human beings were created in the planet Lyra. I talk about this in my old videos, the Genesis Part 3, the human races of this planet. So that is where the human came from, and that is why the symbol of Lyra is the musical instrument, the music, the humanity's song started there. It didn't start here in this planet Earth. So, what is becoming one with the planet? And you said that the planet is like a rope that a soul that wants to come back into internal creation just grab onto and hang on to go back home. Yeah, it's good to think of that, but the draconians doesn't want to give up the planet. For them, if they cannot have this planet, they rather destroy it. So many times, this planet, they tried to detonate their nuclear bomb, which didn't work because it being stopped by the process of light. The Galactic Federation of Light, you really discredit the powers of the archangels and the higher forces of light. You really discredit them. The forces of light, they are higher evolved souls, and the Galactic Federation of Light was created million years ago to stop the draconians from taking over this planet, because the planet doesn't want to destroy its children here, whether you are from other planet, or as you call the adopted soul of this planet. The reason why the planet, when it passes through December 21, it didn't happen as you call it the harvest. No, the planet doesn't want anything bad to happen with the 3 days of darkness, where I was there because Mother Earth wanted me to see, because I was really disheartened what happened. So she wanted me to see the wisdom of what's going to occur. Many deaths will occur. This is the harvesting of the souls. Yes, I agree. There are many kinds of vampires, body vampires, energy vampires. So that 3 days of darkness is enough for humanity to really destroy the soul. What happened? The planet Nibiru, as we call it Nibiru was supposed to come here and destroy, because of the impact, it will really squeeze the planet, because they come here every 3,000 years and always create distraction. So what the Galactic Federation of Light did was they trapped this Nibiru in the center of the sun. They trapped this since December 2012, They were never allowed to release. Only then they were allowed to release last year, because they are part of the, they are connected to the souls of the planet. There are Anunnakis there, you know. They agreed that it's time to end this game. So the Anunnakis asked the Earth children to quit the game. It's time to end the game, and they don't want to do that. As you said, 333 rays here in this planet, and I will give you those information. These are just numbers of occult, because numbers, magic do exist. The 333, you know, the dracos, the draconians, their DNA never splits. It never breaks. That's why they declare themselves as the thru gods, because their DNAs never split. But the human DNA always split, you know, create so many kinds of beings, different kinds of looks. But this DNA that they had suppressed from us and made only 2 DNAs are quantum DNA. And even though they comatize, you know, they put these cells, DNAs, in coma, in due time, in many hundreds of years, it will come back and tick again and become alive and go back to where it come before, you know, it becomes strong again. The planet Earth was conquered. You know, there are many wars in the cosmos. When the Draconians finally took control of the planet Earth, but let me go back. In Lemuria, you know, when they decided to play the duality, then it reached to the Atlantis, where every races were allowed to come here as part of the, to contribute their history and to learn, you know. All races were accepted in this planet. And when Atlantis started to sink in the lower dimension, because they have mystery schools there, and the students decided to create their experiment. They want to create the first Big Bang, and they never had consulted this to their teachers, the higher evolved souls. So when they executed that experiment, the vibration called Ortal was born, and this is how when we sink in back to the Dark Ages, that it didn't happen right away. It just slowly sank in, and the Atlanteans, they have priests there, you know, that overlook the people, all kinds of races. In Atlantis, they have a temple called Poseidon, and they have like a healing temple. Then there are races of the Aryan race that are in charge of the food distribution, you know, manufacturing, and they have healing centers, and they have centers to dissolve the appendages of the reptilians, to remove these appendages. And it is powered by the big crystal that is suspended up in the sky, look like the size of the moon. It's powered up by this crystal. Only then when the another 2 dark brothers that came in here, and they are very charismatic brothers, and they started to play as part of the Congress. Yes, Congress, the government, because the will of the people are the government there, you know, people, mob rule. So the will of the people must be obeyed. So the Adnara's priestess, all they have to do is obey what the people wanted to do. So they have no power over that, even though they have priestess that overlooks for the evolution. But since they were manipulated and charmed by these two brothers, it started to sink in because they are now introducing the pleasures of the flesh instead of pleasures of the soul. So it was introduced slowly. So many chaos, and because it was the result of the experiment. So years gone by, it slowly degrade, and another dark brothers that came in, the Aryus, that attacked. Aryus was very, very evil soul, and the Atlanteans, the good ones, the Pleiadians, they always just get rid of them and put them in another planet. But in due time, Aros came back with his people, and in the area of Florida, they decided to attack Atlantis, which, by the way, already predicted, because the souls there, the high evolved teachers that were, over looking or watching the evolution of Atlanteans, they know what's going to occur, but they cannot stop that. So others left the planet, and others went underground to Agartha 1, Agartha 2. Tibet, under Tibet, that's Agartha 1, a big one, and the small one, the Agartha 2, is in this in California. So they closed that portal, and it will be open only in due time. They programmed that. So magnetic, they closed that through magnetic energy. And of course, Ares won and take over Atlantis. And while these scientists up in the sky, they see what happened, and to get back to Ares, they attached they saw this asteroid, and they attached a rocket of the asteroids and hit Atlantis, and this is the cause of the sinking of Atlantis. It didn't hit directly, but in the atmosphere, when it hit close, it's starting to explode and sink Atlantis. But before that, the natives were advised by the teachers to scatter all over the world for their safety, and some Aryans did survive, and this is what the story of the Noah's Ark. They are the Aryan people. The history of this planet is very, very confusing. So the crystals that they use in Atlantis, where these brothers now are the leaders of the government, they're starting to create weather modifications. Yes, weather modification was used in Atlantis. They use the power of crystals, create weapons, and now they started to do clonings and starting to create their soldiers in animal forms, where the souls have cried when they find out they are in the different forms, and they are being used as the soldiers of war. So the priestess, the good guys, they decided to cut off the power of Atlantis, because they were too much already, because they were fighting against each other, and the good forces are starting to lose the power because it's mob rule, and the people were so into the power of these two brothers. So now they have no choice, because when the crystals were used for negative purposes, the crystal starting to break down. It's falling down. And the good guys, the teachers, wanted to save that crystals. They starting to, the bad guys told the good guys to fix it. I want those fixed. And they know what could happen. It will just get bad. So what they did, they stole that crystals, the big chunk of crystal, and buried it underneath the ground, and being guarded by the Syrian blue rays under the Arkansas mountain that will not be activated until December 2012. And this, before all the crystals could get activated on 2012, because they are slowly activating from September 2009 until 2012. So before that could happen, the bad guys created the CERN, CERN technology. They want to recreate the first Big Bang sound again, for the main purpose of sinking the planet back to the dark ages. That is the main purpose of CERN. Where I'm at, brothers and sisters, I'm sorry if I get so excited and really being passionate of this, because he discredited the forces of light and made the dracos as the good guys and the inheritors of this planet. I have to say and show the sides, the other side. There are more that I would like to speak of, but I think this video is very long already. So I like to end here. Again, Lily, I have nothing against you. I just want to show the other side of the fence. There are no enemies here on this planet once you're awakened, because we are all one. Now you're against meditation because you said for every positive there is a negative. Long time ago, when this planet fell under the dark forces, they put a dark covering of the sun, so that the sun will not receive the energy from the central sun. It starved the sun, so it fell under the dark forces. That's why they worship the sun, because the sun became a negative energy. So when that happened, we became under the frequency control planet. We are in the frequency prison. Because we are a light being, we are sound, color, frequency, and vibration. They put us in a frequency jail, and that's why they modified the body into two DNAs. So this way we will only vibrate in a low frequency, enough to be controlled, and enough to feed the dark forces that were ruling us, to feed them. And that is why they created the religion, to continue to send our energy and powers to the gods. For everything is energy. Energy follows thoughts. Energy needs commands. So whatever the collective is thinking, it could manifest faster. That's why they program us big time. And because we are frequency, color, or vibration, we fluctuate. So, and we cannot dial any other, like a radio station. We only broadcast one station. We cannot get out of the planet. So we fell under this tyranny. The tyranny was so strong that all of us here in this planet were microchipped again. We become cyborg. And this tyranny reached, this energy of tyranny reached the Pleiades, the seven sisters. And this is why they decided to come back here, to alter our future. Because of that, there's another timeline that human beings here were cyborg, and another timeline human beings have ascended. And this is why they captured and put Nibiru in the center of the sun. Now they had released Nibiru now because they are allowed to participate in their in this evolution of all the souls in this planet. to come down. Yes, we are in a frequency control planet because we are energy. I love you all, brothers and sisters.